So AKT season's over here and we're currently studying for the exams. I've been studying since December and I think it's a very vast exam, to be honest. My thoughts: definitely start early. I started quite early and I started preparing little by little. It's come to a point where I've just been doing questions back to back. This is basically just a day when we're studying, love it or hate it, but it's part and parcel of the job and I think you have to kind of do it. And at the moment, one more week for the exams and I think we're kind of trying to get our last minute preparations done. I'll see if I can take you guys with me, do a few questions and see how I did. Another thing that I wanted to show was how many hours that I actually studied for the exams. Time is 9:57 on the Sunday morning. I probably have been doing 8+ hours of studying. I guess today's going to be the same, and it's quite a bit of a struggle. So initially it took me a bit of time to get my grip on. I had not studied for a very long time, so that's why starting early gives you that build of stamina. Anyways, less talking, more doing today. Gosh, it's such a beautiful day today. Lots of sunlight today. Well, I guess this is something that I really miss. Like some of the little things in life, like sunlight, going out in the day when you're busy with like exams and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, I can't do that because I have to still study. Oh, well. At the end of the day, it's one more week to go, so hopefully soon. I sometimes feel like exams sometimes kind of locks you in a zone where you feel like you're trapped in this circle, that everybody else is doing their own thing, everybody's got a life and you kind of don't. Hopefully all this hard work will come to fruition and then I can continue with my life after that. That's just my little bit of rant on this beautiful day. Back inside, do a little bit more studying. So we're back to studying at the moment, and I think what I'm going to do now is, as part of my studying, I'm going to do a paper. Exams is next week, so I just tend to do a few papers here and there to kind of make sure my timing is right. I did a few full papers yesterday, which is 200 questions, but they can be really exhausting and I try to mix them up. Sometimes I do half a paper, 100, and then kind of do them in the shortest amount of time. Very crucial before the exams to make sure that you know how much time you're spending and then your exam technique is right. And I think given the fact that I'm in my last week, that is my main focus, to kind of keep it going. So I tend to do the time test and do around 100 questions within like 90 minutes. So I'm going to get focused. See you in a bit. So I have completed my questions. I've still not seen the answers and I've got around good 12 minutes remaining. Past medicine is a bit of a tricky paper. Some of the questions are really odd. Sometimes there are questions which are statement based, like which of this is false or which of these is not true. And I don't know how much of value it puts because it tests your memory rather than clinical. I just do past medicine at the moment when I'm free, but mainly I'm using the MRCGP self-test to do the full papers, which I've been scoring quite high. And in here, some of the question quality, I'm like, I do it comes from memory, but I'm wondering if that's the right questions. Anyways, let's look at what marks I got. Oh, finish and mark. 65%. It's not too bad. It's a little bit lower than what I expected. Questions can really vary, and I think that's where past medicine is not the best. I don't think it's the best place to judge yourself, because some of the questions I got were so deep. I felt like, were they even supposed to be like an RCGP type of questions? When I did a question bank yesterday, I scored around 82%. Anyways, still not too bad. We will learn from the mistake and move on. So the time at the moment is, it's almost 3 o'clock. I just went through all of the questions that had gone wrong, trying and learning from them. That really does help once you've done the paper. It's not just about doing questions, but it's also about kind of deriving learning. Right, so I had a bit of work that I had to run, some errands that I had to run. I forgot to do that, but actually it was a good reason to get out of the house as well, because the day is amazing, beautiful. Go for a drive. It'll kind of take my mind away from the studies for a bit. We need to get back home. Got a lot more to do today, and let's keep at it. Okay, so 5 at the moment. We've done quite a bit. I've gone through the AKT parts as well. I guess I might have to start looking back through my notes and kind of going through them. I think repetition is the key, and spaced repetition is very important. One thing that I really will highly emphasize is when you start prepping early, definitely learn the statistics and the admin bit early. As in, like, most of the time people tend to leave that for the end. But genuinely speaking, once you've kind of grasped the idea, it does take a bit of time to understand. I'm horrible at statistics. Once you've understood statistics, it really does make a big difference, because out of the 200 questions, 20% comes from that, and that's around 40 questions. These 40 questions can literally be easy marks that you can get in the exams. This was my book that I had just dedicated to statistics. So when I started learning early, I kind of took my time, learned everything. You know, there's things about correlation coefficient, along with some admin stuff, and obviously the graphs and things like that. Yeah, so basically did all my statistics homework early.
Data saturation, what does that mean and why is that important?
Data saturation in this particular...
One more bit that I'm going to show you, that there's a lot of stuff which is just by hearting, like you need to remember, and some of these things are so difficult for anyone to just remember. So what I just did was I put those things on my wall. I look at it every single day, because this is just literally trying to remember. So example would be like, you know, you've got your developmental milestones, so made it into 2 papers and just remember that. These are the few things such as fitness to fly and DVLA. I really struggle with the days, you know, like complicated MI 7 days here, whereas here 4 weeks. So that tends to get to me, so I try to remember that. Same thing with DVLA here. Immunization schedule, another way, the way I just did it was I divided it into baby, child and adult. So a baby would have it at 8, 12 and 16 weeks, so 2, 4 and 6 months, and then 1 year, 3 years child, and then this is for adults. Another thing is school exclusion. It's just trying to remember how many days people have to be off school. Then something was the mnemonics, where you've got your inducers and you've got your inhibitors, and also some screening questions. So that's the time now. It's 1940, which is 7:40, almost 8. So that was one of the days, and there have been plenty of days like these where I've basically had to prepare for the exams. And I also completed 100 questions, went through the AKT curriculum, did some statistics, and then I made 4 books of notes that I've prepared over the past couple of months, and I've started going through them from the beginning again. Maybe I'll try to do them twice before the exam, so all of the information is fresh. Another video showing the grind that goes through when you basically study for an exam. Not that I say I enjoy it, but it is what it is, and this is what needs to be done. Hopefully you guys who are watching it when you're preparing for your AKT exams, you know, whenever in your future, at least this will give you some kind of inspiration. And if you're going through a tough time, maybe this will help you to know that people before you have done it, they've passed. So will you. You just got to keep it up. All right, take it easy. I'll see you in the next video.